Now, I don't know what you're facing today, but I know this, everybody in this room is facing something. If it ain't nothing but life, if you don't have nothing to fight but life, if everybody likes you and you're just as beautiful as you can be and as healthy as an Olympian, if you deal with nothing but life, life will try you to the breaking point. It can be the best time in your life and the worst time all at the same time.
On the outside, people don't look broken. You don't see bruises and you don't see scratches and you don't see scrapes, and people don't walk around in a big cast, and so you can't tell with the naked eye. The problem is that there's a malfunction on the inside. So many times, depression, what it feels like is this, that I'm so afraid to share what's going on the inside because I'm afraid it might destroy you. So what I do is I bury it on the inside of myself, only to destroy myself.
For every struggle in your life, there is a strategy. They didn't get it either. I'm gonna try y'all. For every struggle in your life, there is a strategy. They got it.
When it comes to things that really matter in life, I think all of us know that better is a perspective. You know why you think some people's lives are better than yours? Because you see the part that they show you. They might have a better house, but I wonder what goes on inside. And see, you don't know which one's better.
When something is just beginning to bud, there is also trouble rising up right beside it. When the wheat came up, the tear came up with it. Not because the wheat wasn't real, but because it was. It came up at the same time. Life is crazy.
If you live long enough, you will find out that some of the people you spent so much of your time envying were secretly miserable.
There is something in you that will deliver you, but in order to produce it, you have to go through the dark place.
We got to go backwards to get better. We got to go all the way back to get better. I have to be comfortable in my life to accept that sometimes loss is the way to gain, to know that sometimes the most painful moments are the most purposeful moments. I have to be comfortable in my life to stop comparing myself so much with people who are not meant to be the standard anyway.
You will grow through what you go through. You will grow through what you go through.
You can either stand up and take that small step forward. You don't have to know where you're going. You don't have to have the perfect plan. You don't have to know what tomorrow holds. But you can either get up and take that small step, or you're going to sit at that kitchen counter for the rest of your life. And now, years later, I pushed through those hard times, and I realized, and I truly believe in now, that the smallest of steps eventually completes the grandest of journeys.
You can have what other people can't have. You can go where other people can't go. You can ask what other people can't ask for, because you are not a whosoever. Quit acting like a whosoever. Quit asking like a whosoever. Quit asking like you don't have a right to go in boldly and ask. You are a chosen generation. You are a peculiar people. Say, I'm not a whosoever.
Our problems do not overshadow our purpose. Our weaknesses do not discount our work, and our deficiencies definitely do not delay our destiny. We have to learn how to work our weakness. You gotta work your weakness, because all of us to some degree have a thorn in our flesh. We all have gaps, we all have deficiencies, we've all made mistakes, we've all got these things that feel like a thorn in our flesh.
If you wish to be successful, study success. If you wish to be happy, study happiness. Happiness is not an accident. It is first a study and then a practice. You would naturally assume that most people would make a careful study of them. Why they do not is yet another example of those aspects of life that fall into the category of mysteries of the mind. Remember, major keys to your better future are going to be ideas and information.
Open people like to live on the periphery of boundaries, and they like to break boundaries between things, because interesting things happen when you think a different way, when you think outside of the box, so to speak. That's what open people do. They always think outside of the box, no matter what box you put them in. You know, and sometimes you meet people that are so open that they're completely disorganized. Their thought process is almost completely associational, like a dreamer. They just jump from one thing to another, and they're very interesting to talk to. It's very hard for those people to get their lives together because they're interested in absolutely everything, and their attention just flits all over the place.
If we have any lack, it is not because we lack money or opportunity or resources. It is because we lack ideas that have taken form from information. If you search, you will find. So that is the way to discover ideas and life-changing information. Search. In order to find, you must search. You must go and engage in conversations with people of substance. You must go looking, go searching. Rarely does a good idea interrupt you. And as you make a diligent search, you will find just the ideas you need.
Everybody's been through some shit in their childhood. Alcohol and drug abuse, family members, grandmother, family dying, and it all sets you back. It's a setback for a setup to get to the ultimate blessings.
I came to speak to somebody today who has some triumph in your life, but you've also got some trouble. You've got some joy in your life, but you've also got some sadness.
Until you have had the taste of finishing, you will not respect yourself. Until you follow through, until something is done, tears and struggles and pain, and you go through it anyway, and you show up, and you continue to fight on, no matter the circumstances.
So why not reach down inside of you and come up with some more of those remarkable human gifts? They're there waiting to be discovered and employed. And I challenge you to do that because you can change. If you don't like how it is for you, change it. If it isn't enough, change it. If it doesn't suit you, change it. And I challenge you to do all that because you can change. See, you don't ever have to be the same after today, only by choice. Now for the process of change, just a philosophical pronouncement won't do. It takes more than that, and it takes more than enthusiasm. You can get all excited about lifting 200 pounds until you get to the gym. Then you need a new excitement, and the new excitement is discipline. Discipline, the major step to human progress. If there is one thing to get excited about, this is it. Get excited about your ability to make yourself do the necessary things to get a desired result. That's true excitement. Really making personal changes calls for 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. Wishing we could change is a beginning, but now wish must be translated into activity, and inspiration and affirmation must lead to discipline. We can affirm that we are going to change, but we must now form new habits and develop new disciplines for the affirmation to come true. We can look at developing ourselves spiritually, physically, and mentally. With respect to our spiritual development, this may be a major or a minor issue for you depending on your values and your goals. Come to your own decisions as to what it will take to nourish your spiritual nature. Next, let's look at physical development. The body and the mind work together and depend on each other, so they both need attention. Treat your body like a temple. So just put it in your notes, body like temple. Not a bad suggestion. Now, in taking care of the physical, we must learn to be conscious of ourselves, but not self-conscious. We need to be aware of our physical appearance, our physical well-being, but not to the point of being self-conscious. But some people devote too much of their day to physical appearance. Physical appearance is going to have something to do with your future, your well-being, so do spend some time on physical appearance. How we appear to other people does make a difference in terms of our acceptance and our ability to function and do well in the marketplace.
If you do have a pattern, realize that any pattern you have, including self-sabotage, still comes back to one thing. Human beings, no matter what we're doing, including sabotaging ourselves, we do it for a positive intent. If it clearly is a pattern where you are subconsciously sabotaging yourself, screwing things up, hey, get excited. Don't get upset. Say, hey, look, my brain is doing what it does best.
Personal development, how important. Remember, the major key to your better future is you.
That's a sentence with a lot of value. The major key to your better future is you. For a share of my life, I didn't understand the importance of that phrase. I used to wonder why two people could work for the same company and one make twice as much money. Wouldn't that be a puzzle? I know there are many ways to do well, but in this narrow area called compensation, what is the difference? I thought time makes some of the difference. Some people do better because they have more time. Now that's got to be dumb, right? You can't get someone else's time. There isn't any more time. Where would you find any? Hey, when the clock strikes 12 midnight, that's about it. It's over. There isn't any more time. If you insist on finding more than 24 hours a day, they will come and take you away. You see, what you become is far more important than what you get. However, it is also true that what you become directly influences what you get. Most of what we have attracted by the person we have become. So here's the great challenge of life. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. That is the great focus of attention for life change. Now, on the other side of the coin, it reads, unless you change how you are, you'll always have what you've got. I've discovered that income does not usually exceed personal development. Sometimes income takes a lucky jump, but unless you keep growing out where it is, it will usually come back where you are. Life has strange ways. A very rich man once said, if you took all the money in the world and divided it equally among everybody, it would soon all be back in the same pockets. I guess it is hard to keep what you haven't attracted by your own personal development. It's not what we can do that's in question. What we can do is fantastic. What we can do is unbelievable. What we can do, it's what we settle for that's disappointing. What we become is what leads to all the good things. And the habits we form, habits of mind, attitude, and behavior, are a dominant part of what we are becoming. Now, I understand as well as anyone that forming new habits doesn't come easy. But new habits will come when we change, but rather by changing small pieces and parts at a time. I think that's how most of us change. We just keep nudging ourselves in the right direction, forming one or two new habits at a time, little by little, until finally we've made the turn. And this is where the good life comes from, those personal changes. There's nothing you can do with the seasons, but there's everything you can do with yourself. Wish for your own attitudes, strength, and capabilities to change in order to handle the winters. Time, we will probably use them all, unless somebody finally comes along and blows all those excuses apart to make us come face to face with the real reasons for our current dilemma. Until that time, we will probably use another million excuses to prevent ourselves from having $1 million. Here's one of the major questions I'll pose to you during this program. What are you going to do starting today that will make a difference in how your life works out? See, if you don't do something starting today that will make a difference, guess what? It's going to be the same. And you can guess what the next 5 years are going to be like. Just look at the last 5. Now here's another key question. What can you do starting today that will make a difference? That's a good question. What can you do? What can you do with economic chaos? What can you do with massive disappointment when it's all gone wrong? What can you do when it won't work, when you've run out of money, when you don't feel well, and it's all gone sour? What can you do? Well, let me give you the broad answer first. Here's what you can do. You can do the most remarkable things, no matter what happens. Hey, people can do incredible things, unbelievable things. A man can do the most amazing things with the most impossible circumstances. A woman can do the most remarkable things with the most disastrous circumstances. Hey, I found out kids can do remarkable things. That is, if they have remarkable things to do. I also found out if they don't have remarkable things to do, there's no telling what they'll do. For things to change for you, you've got to change, no matter what successes you've already achieved. Otherwise, it isn't going to change for you. I sure hope things will change. That seemed to be my only hope. If it wasn't going to change, I was in serious trouble. Then I found out it wasn't going to change, and I was in serious trouble. Hey, remember, it isn't going to change. Not long ago, I did a seminar for a group of oil company executives during their convention in Honolulu. Sitting around this conference table, one of them asked, Mr. Rohn, you know some important people around the world. What do you think the next 10 years are going to be like? I said, gentlemen, I do know the right people. I can tell you. So they all listened very carefully. I said, gentlemen, based on the people I know and from the best of my own experience, I've concluded that in the coming 10 years, it's going to be about like it's always been.
When we allow life to reveal itself to us, we live in the present moment, knowing that we are exactly where we're supposed to be. Unfortunately, a lot of people jump too far forward. In their desire to reach their final destination, they forget about the journey. But this is where the magic lies. Unfortunately, life and comfort don't coexist. In today's world, nothing is permanent, and at any moment, life could throw you a curveball that could change the game. When you trust the process, you accept and have faith in the unknown. You step outside of your comfort zone and allow life to guide you along your journey. Let go of fear and stop trying to control your life. As your faith is strengthened, you will find that there's no longer the need to have a sense of control, that things will flow as they will, and that you will flow with them to your great delight and benefit. Are you ready to believe in yourself and trust the process? Fear can play a large role. A lot of people don't like to trust the process because they fear that it's going to lead them down a path that they don't want. If they don't see results fast enough, they get discouraged and give up altogether. People look too far forward and obsess about the end result. But what about the small milestones that you need to take in order to reach your final destination? Be resilient. When faced with adversity, it can be difficult to trust the process. Thoughts of "why me" may surface, causing you to doubt your ability to move forward. This is the moment at which you need to thought stop. Why not you? Life happens to all of us, and it's our responsibility to either rise above our circumstances or give up. If you believe that everything is in your control, drop that story now. Change is the only constant. Resilient people surrender to uncertainty. They understand that we have very little control over what happens in life, and by adopting this mindset, they have trust in the process. Embrace the unknown. Humans dislike ambiguity of any kind. Anything that doesn't feel safe, stable, and comfortable feels dangerous. The fact of the matter is that we don't know what life will throw us. But if we embrace the unknown and get comfortable being uncomfortable, we'll be better prepared for anything. There are no guarantees in life. Don't predict the future. Rather, focus on what you can control, which is the present moment. When you do so, you'll be creating your life moment by moment, with zero attachments to what could be. When in doubt, focus on your purpose. Trusting the process is about accepting that hardships will happen along your journey to success, but having confidence that every lesson is bringing you one step closer to fulfilling your purpose in life. Whether you want to believe it or not, failure is a good thing. It is proof that you are trying. When you commit to being persistent and carrying on despite the odds, the universe will reward you. I encourage you to adopt a positive mindset and find ways to appreciate every experience, both good and bad, that is bringing you one step closer to embodying your purpose. In the words of Andrea Dijkstra, in order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shaped you. Practice gratitude. Our perspective on life dictates the thoughts that we feel and the decisions that we make. The other day, I found myself dwelling upon regrets, which left me feeling depleted and anxious. As a result, I wasn't able to focus on the good that I was creating in the present moment. It only took me a minute to snap out of my ruminative thoughts when I found out that my dear friend had just lost her dad to cancer. At that moment, I found perspective and felt a deep sense of gratitude for my life. It allowed me to stop dwelling on what I couldn't change and to remember how blessed I am. Feeling grateful has been associated with less frequent negative emotions and thoughts, more frequent positive emotions and thoughts, greater meaning in life, more positive coping, a greater appreciation of life. Life is so short. If you are fortunate enough to have freedom and safety, be grateful and conscious of when you slip off track and let your inner critic get the best of you. Once you trust the process, your path in life becomes clear. Life is tough, but so are you, darling. When you learn to trust the process and have gratitude for how far you've come, you get massively rewarded. Why are you trying to go anywhere else other than where you currently are? Learn to fall in love with the here and now, knowing that life is going to give you exactly what you need if you're brave enough to ask for it. In the words of Robert II, trust the process. You'll discover a lot about yourself through hardship. Life is filled with enough anxiety, and there's no reason to add to that by worrying even more. By letting go, you learn to be grateful for what you already have and take it from there. You learn contentment and bliss from even when you're not yet where you want. While difficult, it is one of the most life-changing things you can do for your life. No matter how much you try, you can never control the outcome of your life. However, you can choose to trust and let it go. In letting go, you take yourself much closer to exactly where you're meant to be, whether it's your goals, your life purpose, or something you never expected.
Nothing just happens. Everything you have been through, good and bad. I want you to think about the things in your life that seemingly make no sense. Some of them were painful, some of them were hard to bear. Some of them you're going through right now are very frightening because you have uncertainty and apprehension and anxiety about what's going to happen out of this. And I want you to bathe your soul with these words. Nothing just happens. There's something about going through death and loss and pain and misfortune and adversity. There's something about going through things that don't seem fair to you, that once you go through them, you need to make sense of the madness in your life. Since you can't change what happened and you can't alter what you've been through, at least you need to be able to think that there's some greater good that's going to come out of it. It's what they call bringing closure.
But I tell you, there are some times in life where you fall down and you feel like you don't have the strength to get back up. And fear comes in. You know the fear that you have as soon as you walk into the doors of your house. Maybe there's a broken home. Maybe you have doubt in your life. Maybe you don't know for sure what's going to be happening in the future and it scares you. Maybe you're worried about what people think of you, what people say about you. Just that fear paralyzes you. And I just want to ask you today, do you think you have hope?
That's rough. How people look at you, how they respond to you. It's very hard. It's humiliating. Here's what I discovered that happens to you in life, that you will go through things, and while you're going through them, you can't understand why it's happening to you. But after you go through it, you get back and you look at it and you say, oh, now I understand why I needed that lesson. I couldn't understand it then, But after I got through it, then I saw that that was preparing me for bigger and better things.
Let me ask you one thing. If you went through your life full of pain, full of tears, and at the end of your life, you actually saved somebody's life, is your life worth living? Is the pain worth someone's life if you could actually save somebody?
Every difficulty is growing you up. Every painful time, even though you don't like it, it's developing something in you that can only be developed in the tough times. The key is what we do in our times of pain.
And if you look carefully at my successes are made out of the ingredients of my struggles. My struggles are the pathway that led me into my success. No thing in your life just happened. No thing in your life just happened.
You can come out defeated, giving up on your dreams, or you can come out with a new passion, a new fire, excited about the new opportunities in front of you. All of us experience pain. My challenge, don't just go through it, grow through it. That pain is not there to stop you, it's there to prepare you, to increase you, to develop you. Nothing is a coincidence.
You might be going through a season of the absence of a thing that you legitimately need. You might have to go up without what your neighbors have, but it's not over. Sometimes you have to go through something to find out who you really are, to find out that you can do more than you thought you could do. If I look around me, I see circumstances. If I look in me, I see hope. If you've been looking at some things that's been discouraging you, shut your eyes to what you see. The power that's going to deliver you is coming from the inside. I just want to stop and thank God that He allowed me to go through my changes in the darkness. I'm better. I'm better than I was when I went down. I'm better for it. I didn't like it, but I'm better for it. You see, I was planted in a dark place, but I'm better for it. Every time you go through something dark, remember you've been planted, not been buried, and when you come up, touch somebody and tell them I'm coming up.
I've been wanting to be on TV since I was 10 years old. You know how old I was before I got on TV? 38. 28 years after I wrote it on the paper, I want to be on TV. It took me 28 years to get on TV. But it happened at an appointed time. I just never gave up the faith. I kept going because I didn't know how to quit. Because I know if I quit, it cannot happen. But if you stay with it, you have no idea what can happen for you. You can't quit, man. You got to stay with it. Somebody having it way harder than you, and they didn't give up.
Just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean God is not working. It's just a matter of time before your appointing shows up. Too often we have the anointing, but we get discouraged by the process. We don't like when we're not making progress, not being treated right. When you're tempted to give up, you have to remind yourself it's all a part of the process. Don't run away from the process. The process is not working against you, it's working for you. It's getting you prepared. Don't let disappointments talk you out of it. Don't let delays convince you it's not going to happen. You've come too far to stop now. Keep your joy in tough times. When life throws you a curve, it's taking longer than you thought, remind yourself it's only temporary. Don't fall into self-pity. Keep looking forward. The joy is coming. The dream is coming. The breakthrough is on the way. Don't get discouraged thinking that you're falling behind. I should be much further ahead. My friends, my colleagues, they've all passed me up. Don't worry, your time is coming. Your environment
doesn't determine your destiny. Don't quit being your best because you're not where you thought you would be. They got married, you're still single. They're in the new place, you're still in the old one. Keep doing the right thing. Your appointing is coming. You're going to come to the place where God says, all right, you're prepared. You've done your part, now let me do my part. Let me propel you into your purpose.
You have trouble being resilient because you think everything works like laptops or like computers, and you try thing after thing after thing because you think that trying something for a little while ought to bring you a big return. It does not work like that. Some stuff takes time. Greatness takes time.
Will there be some times that you want to give up? Yes. When you get into a tight spot and everything goes against you until it seems that you cannot hold on for a minute longer, never give up then, for that is just the place and time that the tide will turn. Never give up then, and that is so important. When you're working on doing the things you want to do and fulfilling your dream, and things happen, there are times when your energy feels so depleted that you want to give up, that it looks just totally impossible. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, don't give up then. That's when you've got to fall forward, when life is kicking dirt in your face. Don't give up then. That's when most people turn back.
I'm a college dropout. I was homeless, lived in a car for 3 years. I've lost every single thing I had, family included. I've been written off so many times. But today, the person that you sitting in front of you is a process. I want to talk to you for a moment about the process. Everything that's happening to you is God is processing. And if you need to be tough when you get to where you're going, then He gonna toughen you. See, the route you on right now is the route you got to take. You just got to understand you ain't the only one.
Because if you just keep on walking with God, God has a way of making everything all right. But He warns us that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Now, the term steps implies process. Means it's going to take a while. Because a blessing given too soon is not a blessing at all. I can give my son the car keys now, but had I given it to him when he was 5, it would not have been a blessing at all. He can't handle it. So would I be a good father if I gave him a good thing too soon? Sometimes my goodness is proven by my ability to say not yet. Nobody wants steps. They're not attractive. The only reason we have steps is to get us to a higher level. If there were a way to get upstairs without going upstairs, we would take it. But if you don't have the $60,000, $70,000 it takes to put an elevator in your house, then guess what? You go up the steps. I take them one at a time now. I used to take 2 and 3 at a time. I ran up the steps. I ignored the steps. They were no problem when I was younger. No, went up the steps fast. I ran up them until I tripped on them. Excuse me, step aside, move to the right. I gotta go. I run up the steps until I fell on the steps. And I learned respect for the process. Go through the process. I prayed to abort the process. I prayed to speed it up. I prayed that I wouldn't have to endure some things that He wanted me to endure. I was working on the destination, but He was working on me. If I wanted to really destroy you right now, real fast, real quick, I would give you my life right now and all that goes with it and all the 300 and so employees of my little company. I would give it all to you right now in a flash, and say, there, it's yours, take it. You know why that would be criminal? I didn't give you the struggle and the strife and the experience and the pain that created it. You wouldn't be able to handle it. You wouldn't be able to stand it. It would be murderous to win too soon. And there is something to be respected about process. The process, the little steps that make a mile. It is not the destination. It is the things you learn along the way. It is the people who beguiled you and tricked you that make you wiser. Wisdom is made out of the stupid things you did before you got it. Don't miss it. That process is invaluable to you getting there. Does that mean that you have to be my age before you get there? Absolutely not. But it does mean that you don't go from thinking a thought to producing an idea without pain, no more than a woman goes from having sex to getting up in the morning with a baby in her arms. The gestation period is critical. Gestation creates formation.
I wonder if you're upset about something now that later on you're going to realize it had to happen to get you to your destiny. It wasn't fair, but God used it to connect the dots. You can't see what God is up to, but later on you're going to understand. A disappointment today, a betrayal, you may not see how that works out for your good until years down the road. What's interesting is every time we got close to the end, all of a sudden that piece that I was so sure was a mistake would fit perfectly into place. You may have some pieces in your life that don't make sense. Why did that person walk out of a relationship? By itself, that piece doesn't fit. You have to wait for the other pieces to come together. God is in the process of connecting the dots in your life. Trust Him when the piece doesn't make sense. When God designed a plan for your life, He didn't accidentally put in a wrong piece. He didn't leave something out. You have been fearfully and wonderfully made. Everything is serving His plan. He never said, you're going to understand everything. It's all going to make sense. He said, my ways are not your ways. You have to trust Him when you don't understand. God is working behind the scenes in your life right now. Just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean God is not working. It's just a matter of time before your appointing shows up. Too often we have the anointing, but we get discouraged by the process. We don't like when we're not making progress, not being treated right. When you're tempted to give up, you have to remind yourself it's all a part of the process. Don't run away from the process. The process is not working against you, it's working for you. It's getting you prepared. Don't let disappointments talk you out of it. Don't let delays convince you it's not going to happen. You've come too far to stop now. Keep your joy in tough times. When life throws you a curve, it's taken longer than you thought, remind yourself it's only temporary. Don't fall into self-pity. Keep looking forward. The joy is coming. The dream is coming. The breakthrough is on the way. Don't get discouraged thinking that you're falling behind. I should be much further ahead. My friends, my colleagues, they've all passed me up. Don't worry, your time is coming. God knows how to make up for lost time. He can propel you where you could not go on your own. Your environment doesn't determine your destiny. When it's your time, when you've gone through the preparation process, get ready to be propelled. Don't quit being your best because you're not where you thought you would be. They got married, you're still single. They're in the new place, you're still in the old one. Keep doing the right thing. Your appointing is coming. You're going to come to the place where God says, all right, you're prepared. You've done your part. Now let me do my part. Let me propel you into your purpose.